on 1116 SEN. Sports Overdrive.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's...
24 minutes to 11. Welcome to Superwomen Live, all part of Sports Overdrive and 1116 SEN. Of course, Superwomen Live is the official show of the Melbourne Vixens and Netball Victoria. And this week's edition is proudly presented by the Melbourne Vixens premier partner Jason Betting, helping the Melbourne Vixens rest and recover. It's now 2 losses on the trot for the Melbourne Vixens. They're back at home next week against the New South Wales Swifts. They sit second on the table at 6-2, a narrow 4-goal defeat at the hands of the Northern Mystics, the best of the New Zealand sides, the reigning grand finalists. Turning around their road form after getting belted by the Queensland Firebirds a couple of weeks earlier. Bianca Chatfield, the captain of the Melbourne Vixens and also one of the young superstars, Micaela Wilson, joins us on the line. Good evening, girls.
Hello, how are you?
We're going along very well. Just making sure I've got the mics right. There's 700 of them in the room, but I think I'm right now. 2 losses in a row. Obviously narrow losses in the games again. What's the feeling coming out of the camp now?
Oh, obviously we're a little shattered after our efforts today. I think, we had every opportunity to win that game, but Mystics were great. They played a fantastic game. They were very smart, very creative, and, we've got a lot to learn from that effort.
I'll ask both of you this, I guess, as defenders. First of all, we saw a rather unique piece of defending from the Northern Mystics on a number of occasions in the game. It was dubbed by the commentary team and I think Anna Harrison, formerly Anna Scarlett herself, as the chairlift. Now, basically getting helped up by Cullen and I think it was Moulds, the other defender, as she goes for a rejection, lifted up in the air and almost blocking the shot as it's going in. Haven't seen anything like that before as a defender. I guess your thoughts on that?
I'll be honest, I loved it. It's not uncommon. I have practiced that at training before. I think it was with the Diamonds years ago. We decided just to have a crack at something different. And Mika and I were just talking outside just about it's awesome for something different for defenders and, good on them for thinking and practicing it. And Anna Harrison or Anna Scarlett, she is a volleyball player, so she's got an enormous vertical jump on her. She's obviously very light as well, so she'd be quite easy just to hoist up there and hit like a rugby line out. And, it's annoying that it was against our team, obviously, but I think it's great for the sport.
It looks like the first time it happened, it almost looked like she did it unassisted the first time, and then the next 3 she was lifted, but obviously it's a fair leap to be able to block a shot that's on its way in.
Absolutely. We'd love to do that, wouldn't we, Mika?
Absolutely. I think the first 2 she actually did off her own jump, and then the next couple she was assisted, so looked pretty amazing. We'll have to practice that one at training B.
We will.
They say tactics evolve. As a young player coming through, have you been, I guess, any left field, lateral tactics like that have been taught to you coming up through the ranks as a younger player?
I'd say I've definitely learned a few tricks of the trade. Learning from B and Jiva and Jules at training has been interesting, so there's been a few sneaky tricks that I'll keep up my sleeve to hopefully whip out at some stage.
Now, of course, the Vixens have spent a lot of the season on the road. They've had the 3 home games. They're back at home next week, second home game in a row against the New South Wales Swifts. They played them a couple of weeks ago up in Sydney, and we've got, again, 5 double passes to give away for the Vixens at next home game. Next Sunday, it's a 2:20 start again at Hisense Arena. So if you are victorious, tickets collected from the stadium on game day. So basically, you can either give us a call on 9429 1116 and assess today's match against the Northern Mystics, or alternatively, if you've got a question for either Bianca or Micaela, 0433 98 11 16. The best questions will be read out and put to the girls, and then the winning entries can score a double pass to head along to the game against the Swifts next week. And I guess with the quick turnaround from the Swifts, what did you learn from them last week heading up to Sydney? They protect the home fortress pretty well. All 5 of their wins have been at home. They've struggled a little bit on the road. They lost to the Canterbury Tactics earlier on in the season, but in saying that, they do appear to be getting better. Is there anything that you feel you can learn from that, do differently this time to turn the tables on them?
Definitely. We've got plenty up our sleeve to pull out next week. When we played the Swifts last weekend, the girls, I didn't go over to Christchurch, but the girls had been over to Christchurch, and that was a big road trip for them. So our preparation before the Swifts game wasn't ideal. We had like one court work session that was very short because there were a lot of girls who were tired and rested. And so I think we can look towards this game and think that if we can have a full week on the training track working on what we want to do against them, I think we'll be in much better position this time. I also think that they've got a very unique attack end for the competition. It's very
different, very quick.
That's right. Very unusual to have two shorter goalers with lots of pace. So perhaps we were just a little bit shocked by that speed, but we're certainly ready for it and we'll be training hard against that.
How does the Mystics setup compare? Obviously, Catherine Latu, who's sort of the stay-at-home shooter, gets close to the post. I think she missed a shot for the first time since round 3 late in the game today. And Maria Tutaia, considered one of the most accurate shooters in the world. It's more of a conventional combination, but at the same time, it's a little bit different to having, say, a giant like an Aiken or a Borrego standing there.
Yeah, they're both really strong. Usually in a team you have one dominant shooter, but either of them can take up the load. But I think they're another strength or lethal weapon they have down their attack end is Temepara George and we attack. So smart, so creative, and just places the ball perfectly for either of the shooters.
Did you feel it was a battle of the two sides that seemed to have the most depth? The Vixens and the Mystics are the sides that have rotated the most of anyone in the competition. They've used the majority of their list. And in terms of having players that can call upon, the Mystics have been turning it over quite heavily, the players or the starting 7, and you girls have done the same thing.
I didn't even know that stat, so thanks for informing me of that. I don't know. I think the teams that are going to be successful this year will be the versatile ones, and that's what Swifts have been doing as well. They change their players and rotate on and off, and we hope to be able to keep doing that and hopefully do our changes proactively rather than reactively.
Al from Mount Martha's a really big fan of your defence. Bianca saying it was a fantastic fight from the defenders against a really strong Mystic side. Obviously, a lot of New Zealand representation in their lineup as well. So, are there any differences, I guess, in the way attacking players play from New Zealand compared to Australia? We know umpiring's different. We know defensive setups are different. Is there a difference in attack as well?
Oh, it's probably a little bit harder to pinpoint. What do you think, Mika?
It's not as obvious, I think, as the defensive strategies. I don't know, and I guess it changes from team to team as well. Like with Temepara down there, just the quick hands flying all around the court, and we saw Catherine Latu pull out a couple of the look-away passes that were absolute bullets. So it changes, I think, from New Zealand side to side. But
and they also have a lot of patience. We get frustrated because we want to move the ball quickly as Australian teams. New Zealand teams are happy if they pass it around for a whole minute, just up and back and over the transverse line.
Yeah, definitely.
I was sitting down with my wife at the game watching it, and I just threw it out there because I know Fastnet has different rules, and it's almost the experimental side of the game. Is it completely out there to suggest that maybe a shot clock in Fastnet would be something to experiment with, where perhaps the side's got, 30 seconds once they take possession to get it into the scoring circle and shoot, and it forces their hand? Is that something that is far-fetched and wacky as an idea? Or?
No, I think that's great. I think Fastnet I've played a couple of years now, and I really enjoy the concept, but there isn't actually much for defenders. The defence side of things is very similar, whereas the shooters get to shoot outside the ring. There's some different rules for them, so I think we need some stuff like that. So maybe we should pass that on to the hierarchy and see if we can get that put in. Alan
Mount Martha, number ending in 985. Give us a call, 9429 1116. We'll take any details. You can head along to the Swifts game. Micaela, obviously heading across to New Zealand and getting that chance this season. I guess what was that experience like? Obviously you've played at a high level coming up through 17s, 19s and 21s for Australia, but was there a difference, I guess, in highest level under 21s and then getting into the ANZ Championship?
Yeah, I would say, a pretty obvious step up. So obviously I was rapt to get that opportunity against the Tactics. So, I'd say pretty much the biggest difference is the speed of the game and just the intensity at which you have to work for the whole time. So I wasn't on for a whole quarter, but even in that 8 minutes, I mean, it's hard yakka out there, and no matter what position you play, it's just that constant pressure. Otherwise, your goal is just flying down the court. So I guess it's just being mentally switched on and, sort of learning to just stay focused for the whole time I'm out there. So
a few SMSs that we'll get to in just a second. Ryan has given us a call from St Kilda. Good evening, Ryan.
G'day, how you going?
Good.
Good, long time listener, first time caller.
Welcome.
Thank you. I was just wondering, the boys and I didn't get to see the game today, so we're wondering, I was going to ask Bianca how the defensive end held up. Did you go with a zone or did you go like man on man? We didn't get to see the game today.
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for your call. Defensively, we just tried to mix it up. We tried to play more of a one-on-one, keep to the traditional Aussie style. But, yeah, we did do a bit of a zone in there occasionally to try and mix it up for them. But unfortunately, it wasn't good enough.
Now, you've spent a bit of time at wing defence, as did Jiva Mentor, as has Coletto over the course of the year. How do you find that transition within a game, going from defending in the circle to wing defence in even the space of a couple of minutes and then back again? Is it sort of a difficult one to adjust, or...?
It is. It's been bizarre, I must admit, that, going from keeper to goal defence to wing defence. But, I think you've always got the same goal anyway. You either want to keep the goalers away from the post or you want to keep the wing attack off the edge of the circle. You're still switching with the centre or you're still switching with the goal defence no matter what position you're in. So, yeah, you definitely got to move your feet a lot quicker out at wing defence. But, yeah, it's not too hard to adjust. So I think you're going to see defenders play all positions now. I don't think you really have a choice anymore.
Now, I'll pose this question to you from Tim Gossage, SEN Zone. He's over in Perth. He's a big fan of the West Coast Fever. He says, FEMA promised not delivering. Should I be worried? You've played against the Fever this year. Obviously, they've been generally for want of a better phrase, the poorest performed of the Australian sides over the last few seasons. Obviously, Kath Cox, an Australian teammate, has gone over there. Did you notice any difference in them at the start of the season? Do you look at them externally and think, for Tim's sake, that they're on the way up? Or?
Oh, well, I actually thought at the start of the season, with how they've recruited, with having Norma as their coach, that they'd be massive changes. And, they have improved definitely, but I'm surprised by some of their results of recent times. I thought they would have had a few more wins on the board, but maybe they're just taking a little bit of time to adjust to the new positions.
Lost 52-47 to the Swifts today. Thank you, Tim. 0433981116 if you'd like to pose a question to one of the girls for a chance to win a double pass to the game against the Swifts next week. Micaela, anything, was there a big surprise, once you got into the Vixen system? Was it the pace, as you said? Once you've stepped up into this level, is there anything that has jumped out at you as a particular surprise of what it's like playing at this level?
I have to say the training intensity. I think if anyone came along to some of our court sessions, they get fairly intense and super competitive. So we train exactly how we want to play, and I think that benchmark is set. And I remember my first training just being, pretty wowed at just the intensity and the absolute competitiveness that everyone goes about their job, and just completely professional, and just going about our job as hard as we can just to get in the groove for the game.
Fantastic. We are going to take a quick break on Superwomen Live. It'll be a rematch against the Swifts at 2:20 p.m. this Sunday, the 27th of May at Hisense Arena. After their first loss of the season to the Swifts 2 weeks ago, the Vixens will be determined to win the interstate rivalry at home. Purchase your tickets through Ticketek now to secure your spot in the action, or you can win some of us here by SMSing through question 0433 98 11 16. A break and back with more. 8 minutes to 11 o'clock. This is Superwomen Live, all part of Sports Overdrive and 11:16 SEN. Are you a super fan? Join in on the fun. Get your season 3 game 2012 Vixens membership and show your support as a Superwomen of netball. Take to the court. Available at melbournevixens.com.au. Off the SMS, I think it's Sharon from Wodonga. Give us a call. Number ending in 348. Ask the question, what's the best way to stop Catherine Latu, especially now that she's in the New Zealand side as well, given the way she plays, obviously holds very well. Is there a major tactic with a player like that?
Oh, she's tough, and if the ball's perfect going into her, there's not much you can do about it. So you can't rely on your keeper to beat her. You've got to rely on everyone else in the team. So goal defence, wing defence, centre, putting so much pressure on the feed going into her.
A couple more SMSs coming through that we'll get to in just a moment. But in regards to the message from the coaching staff, obviously 2 losses in a row, is it a case of circumstances where you looked at the Swifts? Obviously, it was a unique combination to come up against Mystics, have lifted a little bit, a few things happening there. Was there a predominant message to come out of the game as to what has gone wrong over a 2-week period? It hasn't gone drastically wrong because it's been close, but something that might have slipped a little bit, given that you had the narrow escapes against the Magic and the Firebirds.
That's right, and they could have easily gone the other way, and we could be sitting here with 4 losses, but thank goodness we're not. After the game, we don't want to make it like it's it's all over, or it's the worst thing that's happened to us, but the coaching staff put it back onto us as players that we have to be the ones that problem solve. So, we have to be the ones that, when they're out there during the quarter, we have to be able to fix the problems when they're coming up rather than wait until the breaks till we fix it. So it was really put back on us to come up with what we need to work on this week at training to make sure we get back on the winning side next week.
Now, Micaela, what we do every week is ask a few of these generic questions to introduce our players to the audience. Obviously, youngest of the girls we've had on the program as well, and new to, I guess, the experience of it all. But we'll throw a couple of these at you that we do every week. Have you got an AFL side?
Yeah, I'm a Saints supporter.
Oh, yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah, they're doing all right at the moment, actually.
Disappointing this afternoon. I'm a Sainer as well. But,
yeah, well, there you go.
Good second half. But,
well, I'm actually, I do support Port Adelaide as well, so I was stoked they got their win yesterday.
Interesting combination.
Yeah, why those two? I didn't even know this.
My cousin plays for Port Adelaide, so I do the family, just good family support there.
St Kilda can never beat Port either. It's frustrating. Only team in the league that can't beat Port Adelaide. Another one we always throw out there is if you could transfer your netball skills into any other sport and play it at the highest level, if you had a choice, would there be one? For some reason, tennis has won this on the majority of occasions.
Tennis, lots of money, which would be nice. Unfortunately, I have absolutely no ball skills in any other sport but netball. You should see me at training the other day. We were working with tennis balls and it was flying all over the shop. So, it's just something that pays really well. That'd be great. Make a living out of it, play for a couple of years, that'd be sweet.
Now, if I haven't asked you any of these in the past, Bianca, you can chime in on these too, but any pre-game superstitions or rituals that you've got, anything in particular, a routine you have to follow or you just don't quite feel right in a game?
I guess just making sure I leave plenty of time. I can be a real Nazi. So my poor parents growing up, I would be barking orders at them to get in the car and drive me because I had to make sure I had plenty of time. But no real superstitions. No, nothing like left sock on before right or anything. Just
most annoying teammate. You can change that to funniest if you like, if you want to be a little bit less controversial.
Oh, wow. Most annoying, funny. Oh, look, we all have our moments. Kate Beveridge comes up with, she's a bit of a laugh. Jiva Mentor also has their moments too. So everyone has, I think, their day or their week where they'll shine.
Now, a two-part question, sort of one for each of you. Madison Brown was on the other day, and there was an interview done on the Channel 10 pre-match coverage in which Kate Beveridge, I think, accused Madison Brown of being one of the coach's pets. And Madison Brown said that Bianca Chatfield and Chelsea Tregear were the two that were well and truly in that basket. Is that the case, in your opinion?
I think this question viewed before the game today. So, question's always a laugh. I'd have to point the finger at Chelsea. She's guilty. She doesn't want the label, but she's got it, definitely, well and truly.
Yeah, she has got it. Yeah.
Julie loves her.
Anyone else you'd like to nominate, like Madison Brown, for example?
No, I would say Sarah Wall would be the coach's pet, definitely. And Kate on Twitter had a bit of a... tried to pump herself up. She wanted that title this year, but I'm not quite sure she's snuck in there.
I think Sarah and Chelsea got that down pat.
Yep.
A few others as well. Favourite movie?
Oh, I do like a couple of old movies. So Forrest Gump's great.
Okay.
Green Mile, feel like that.
Good choices. Favourite TV show?
I'm actually really hooked on The Voice.
Oh, same. I was
loving
The Voice.
critical in the commercials leading up to it, but then it started and I am hooked. I can't get away from it.
Are you normally a fan of those sort of singing reality TV shows?
It was, I hate, there's so many of those singing shows around, but Seal, just something about Seal.
We were in Perth having breakfast and Micaela was bagging the show. Before it even went down, she's like, I can't stand those ads. I can't stand the judges.
I would never watch that show.
Now look how she's changed.
I've changed woman.
Favorite singer? Favorite or band or...
I don't really have, again, just generic. I listen to whatever. A lot of radio, so yeah, I'm anything.
And favourite food, even I guess a guilty food, something that is a temptation.
Guilty food. Well, I do make a wicked cold rock combination.
Okay.
It's vanilla with Maltesers and cookie dough. So, yeah, that would be if I'm going way out, that's way out. But that would be it.
Sounds very good. But also for young netballers coming through, being a young player, can you just, I guess, explain your pathway? I think you're out the Ferntree Gully way, is that right? And then obviously come through development systems?
Yep. So I started playing for my local Roeville Netball Club in Roeville. And basically my pathway started making my first rep team when I was 12, and then I pretty much followed the Victorian State League or state team program, so under 17s, 19s and 21s. And so through those teams, obviously selection for Aussie teams come up through that. So I'm currently with the Aussie 21s, and so just sort of following that pathway, and then I guess my selection with Vixens came through the Victorian Fury in the Australian Netball League. So that's pretty much the biggest bridge between playing in your local sort of state league competition, and it's the bridging gap between that and the Vixens. So that was really important.
Okay. Very good. So that's comparing, I guess, the VNL. Obviously, Bianca, watching it from afar, the VNL system coming through with the second, well, I guess the second tier players coming up and the younger players coming up. Obviously, you're around in the system where we had the Phoenix and the Kestrels and that sort of stuff. The old Commonwealth Bank Championship, I think it was. Have you been able to judge how different you think the pathway is, or even, I guess, the opportunities available now to what they were then?
I think our VNL is really strong. I think now it's 10 licenses is working really well for the competition. I guess the hard thing is that the reality of the situation is the Vixens only offer 12 contracts. We've gone from having, there used to be 2 teams of 16, or, then it went to 2 teams of 12, and now it's 1 team of 12. So every team in Australia has Victorians playing in it.
That's why there's so many Vics going into state, because it's hard to get a gig.
You want to play, and if you're going to make the Australian team, you've got to be on court, and so you can't begrudge anyone for leaving because of those reasons.
Speaking of which, can a former teammate, Caitlin Thwaites, make the Australian team again, do you think? She's playing very nicely over there with the Central Pulse.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt, she could.
Cam at Donvale asked the question, good question in regards to what we were just discussing. Cam, you can give us a call, a number ending in 047 for a double pass. There's a left field question. If the girls were to spice up their training and do something different, say a The Voice style sing-off, what song would you sing, and against who on the team, and I guess by extension, who would win?
Whoa. I'd go on Team Keith.
Team Keith? No way. I'm Seal. Team Seal all over.
I can't sing. I wouldn't even try.
I would not want to go against Tegan, though. Tegan is the musical genius of the team, so I would not want to go up
We'll leave it to the others.
And our good friend Ben Carbonaro has a long memory. He says, I remember a press conference or a season launch, a Phoenix season launch, where Bianca and a now retired player said that they would organise a date for him. So obviously Ben still, he doesn't forget anything of Benny Carbonaro, so obviously he's still holding you to that. Ben, you'll have to take that up with Bianca at the next press conference.
Yeah, sorry about that, Ben.
See if you can follow that one up. Life outside of netball, what does it entail for both of you at the moment in terms of a working capacity?
Well, I'm at university, so currently on uni break, actually, which is awesome. I'm loving that. So I study primary teaching, and then on top of that, just doing some part-time administration work at a fitness centre called Acumotum in Paran. So that's what I do.
And I know Bianca used to work for the Bombers, but what's life entail now?
Yeah, so Sherelle and myself have our own company, Pivot Performance. So we run personal development workshops for schools, for corporates, for other elite teams. And I also am doing a little bit of study on the side. I'm doing an elite athlete mentoring course. So just trying to keep my hand in the welfare side of things for athletes for my life outside of playing.
Is there anything or any website or number you'd like to plug for your business if people want to get involved?
It's pivotperformance.com.au, so you can get on there and check out what we do.
If you'd like to squeeze in a quick question, 0433 98 11 16 is that number. Just a couple finally on, I guess, some of the tactical components of the side. As we've seen Sarah Wall play wing defence in the last couple of weeks, not yesterday, but obviously the 2 games prior to that, she spent a bit of time there. From your point of view, is that something from a team perspective that might be trying to replicate what was there with Renee Hallinan, just a little bit more of a speedy option? Obviously, that the defenders in the circle have played wing defence. Obviously, there were some injuries. You didn't play the Canterbury match, and that's how she got her opportunity. Is that something that you could see going forward, or is she probably going to be utilised more in the attacking role she's played, wing attack centre?
Yeah, I think she did a great job on the wing. I think with all the taller shooters now, it's becoming more important to have taller people on the transverse line, so in wing defence and goal defence. But I think she adds a different dimension to our centre court. So whether she's on at wing attack centre or wing defence, she provides lots of run, lots of drive, and lots of enthusiasm. So, we could see her more there, but I imagine wing attack centre is probably where she'd prefer to be playing.
Now, I understand that the answer to this one is no comment, but people don't miss anything. Daniel says, what was Bianca chatting to the umpires about at quarter and half time? Does she think it had any difference? People don't miss anything.
Get away with anything.
Captain, so you're allowed
to. And believe it or not, it wasn't actually about my end of the court. It was about the other end of the court. So the captain is the only one that's allowed to approach the umpire. guys. So Julie Hornweg had asked me just to go and chat to them around just some of the defenders holding on to our shooters and not being able to release the ball freely.
And a final one, the best side I guess you've played this year. We've asked a few of the girls this, and obviously now that we've worked our way through the season and you've played a majority of the teams in the competition, we know obviously the Swifts and the Mystics have knocked you off, but obviously you've played all of the Australian sides now. Is there anyone that looms dangerously or you think is the most difficult combination?
Like Mystics today, their attack end, I think that's one of the strongest we've come up against.
Yeah, certainly.
But even though we beat Adelaide Thunderbirds by 14, and that was a lot, and we played very well, they to me still are the ones that I think will be extremely tough.
Yep.
Bianca and Micaela, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
This has been Superwomen live for your Sunday night. We'll take a break. Good luck to the girls next week against the New South Wales Swifts, and we'll be back with Global Game Day.